Spirited Away and A Course in Miracles connect surprisingly deeply through themes of identity, forgetting, temptation, purification, fear, and remembering one's true name. At the beginning of Spirited Away, Chihiro enters a strange world without understanding how she got there. Her parents become transformed through unconscious consumption, and she slowly forgets who she is. That is very close to the ACM description of the ego condition. The Course says the mind fell asleep into a dream of separation, and then became hypnotized by the world it made. Identity becomes confused with survival, roles, fear, and adaptation. In the bathhouse, nearly everyone is trapped in transactional identity. What can I get? How useful am I? How do I survive? Who has power? What role must I play? ACIM would call this the ego economy, worth based on exchange, performance, status, and scarcity. Notice what happens to names in the film. Yubaba steals names to gain control. Chihiro becomes Sen, that is psychologically profound. In ACIM, the ego also assigns identities: victim, achiever, abandoned one, spiritual one, body, personality, failure, success. The deeper self becomes obscured beneath labels and conditioning. The danger is not merely having a role, it is forgetting the role is not the truth of what you are. One of the central movements in Spirited Away is remembering. Not learning more information, remembering essence. That is deeply ACIM. The Course is not fundamentally about self-improvement. It is about removal of what obscures awareness of love's presence. Haku mirrors this too. He has forgotten his true identity and real name. He serves forces he does not fully understand. Only through remembrance does liberation begin. ACM repeatedly suggests the mind has forgotten its source and now wanders searching for substitutes, special relationships, achievement, control, magic solutions, self-images. Yet beneath forgetting, something intact remains. The bathhouse itself is fascinating through an ACIM lens. It functions like the ego world, busy, chaotic, obsessed with appearances, constantly bargaining, constantly consuming. Everyone is reacting to symbols as though survival depends on them. The No-Face character especially resembles ego hunger. At first, No-Face appears empty and lonely. Then he begins consuming endlessly: food, attention, validation, people. And the more he consumes, the more distorted he becomes. That parallels how the ego tries to solve inner emptiness externally. More approval, more stimulation, more spirituality, more accumulation, more identity reinforcement. But appetite without true connection becomes insatiable. Chihiro does something important. She does not ultimately attack No-Face or worship him. She remains present without fully joining the distortion. That resembles forgiveness in ACM, seeing confusion without making it ultimate reality. There is also a purification theme throughout the film. The polluted river spirit scene is almost an ACM metaphor directly. Everyone initially perceives a disgusting monster, but beneath the contamination is a wounded spirit burdened by accumulated debris. ACIM similarly suggests that beneath attack, dysfunction, and distortion is innocence obscured by layers of fear, guilt, and conditioning. The healing comes not through condemnation, but through release. Not, you are evil, but this is not your deepest nature. At the same time, the film avoids naive spirituality. Fear exists in experience, temptation exists, manipulation exists, loss exists. ACIM sometimes gets misunderstood as pretending darkness is unreal, while the mind is still terrified by it. Spirited Away is more psychologically honest than that. Chihiro matures through facing fear consciously, not bypassing it. She becomes less reactive, less helpless, less identified with panic, not through domination, through inner steadiness. And perhaps most ACIM-like of all, love restores memory. Not romantic possession, not dependency, recognition. At the end, Chihiro returns to the ordinary world changed internally. The outer world looks similar, yet perception is different. That mirrors the Course's direction. Awakening is not necessarily escaping form, but no longer being entirely hypnotized by it. The world may still appear, but identity is no longer fully trapped inside the dream.